When you think about history, you probably think of these epic stories, right? Big battles, empires rising and falling, all that stuff. But today, nah. Today, we're digging into the footnotes, the little details that are so weird, so out there you'd swear they were fake, but they're not. So let's get into it.
So, let's just kick things off with this little gem. Back in 14th century France, a pig actually killed a child. And the response wasn't just get rid of the pig. No. They arrested it, they put it on trial, complete with its own lawyer, found it guilty, and then publicly hanged it. This is not a Monty Python sketch, people. It's a real documented court case, and it's our first big clue that the past is way, way stranger than you think.
And that's exactly what we're diving into. We are going on a tour of the bizarre, the unbelievable, and the honestly hilarious stories that prove history is far weirder than any fiction you could ever write. All right, let's start with our furry and not-so-furry friends. Our relationship with the animal kingdom has taken some, let's just say, interesting turns over the years. Everybody meet Wojtek. Now, Wojtek wasn't just some cute mascot. He was an officially enlisted soldier in the Polish army during World War II. Seriously, he was found as a cub, grew up with the troops, and get this, he even helped them carry heavy ammo crates during battles. A literal soldier bear. You can't make this stuff up. And then you have this. Back in the 13th century, Pope Gregory IX didn't just have a thing against cats. He actually declared war on them. He issued an official papal decree associating them with witchcraft and, well, that was that. An actual declared war on cats.
And to wrap up our animals section, let's talk turkey. For the ancient Mayans, this was not your Thanksgiving dinner. Turkeys were seen as sacred vessels for the gods and were treated with this incredible reverence. It just goes to show you how one culture's deity is another's holiday meal.
So it wasn't just our thing with animals that was a bit off. The beliefs people held, and especially the things rulers did, it gets even weirder. This is one of my favorites. It just perfectly shows how made up our social rules are. In ancient Greece, what we'd call a skirt or a tunic, that was peak manliness. Pants? Pants were for barbarian women. It's just a perfect little reminder that our ideas about what's normal are just, well, our ideas. Okay, try to imagine this. You're the king of France, one of the most powerful men in the world, and you're absolutely convinced that you are made of glass. This was a real psychological condition that King Charles VI had. He was so terrified of shattering that he had iron rods sewn into his clothes and would freak out if anyone tried to touch him. And get this, something as simple as using a fork was once considered a major sin. The argument was basically, hey, God gave you two perfectly good hands to shovel food into your mouth. Using some artificial, spiky tool is a total insult to the Creator. It's kind of wild to think about what people used to get worked up about. All right, just pause for a second, take a breath, because we're about to take a very, very sharp turn. You think a king made of glass is strange? What if I told you that one of the most terrifying tools ever invented was created for one of the most delicate moments in human life? Yeah, you heard me right. This whole next section is about the absolutely shocking origins of things you think you know. So, that chainsaw sitting in your garage, it has nothing to do with cutting down trees originally. It was invented in the late 18th century by a couple of Scottish doctors. And the reason why is just, wow. So before C-sections were a safe, common thing, if a baby got stuck during childbirth, doctors would perform something called a symphysiotomy. And that involved removing parts of the pelvic bone to make more room. The very first chainsaw, a small hand-cranked device, was designed to make that horrifying procedure go faster. Yeah, let that sink in for a minute. And the weird origins just do not stop. Ketchup, sold as a medicine in the 1830s to cure an upset stomach. Cornflakes, invented by Dr. Kellogg to be so bland and boring, it would supposedly stamp out any impure thoughts in his patients. And the word robot? It comes from the Czech word robota, which basically means forced labor or slavery. So many everyday things have these truly bizarre backstories. Okay, to wrap this all up, let's just do a lightning round of a few more facts from history that are just too wild not to share. 23. That's it, just the number. That's how many times Julius Caesar was stabbed to death by a group of senators. It's so specific and so brutal, it just sticks with you.
This might be the craziest one yet. Okay, before anesthesia, speed was everything for a surgeon. And this guy, Robert Liston, was the fastest. But during one leg amputation, he was going so fast, he accidentally chopped off his assistant's fingers too. And in his wild backswing, he slashed a spectator who reportedly died of shock on the spot. The patient and the assistant later died from infection. It is the only surgery in recorded history with a 300% mortality rate.
How's this for some perspective? When the U.S. entered World War I, this massive global conflict that was changing the face of warfare, its entire Air Force had a grand total of 18 pilots. 18. That's it. And now for the final thought. Let's pull the camera way, way back. What you're seeing here is basically all of human history. And that tiny, tiny little sliver, that's the part we actually wrote down. Think about it. We modern humans have been walking this planet for at least 200,000 years. But writing? We only came up with that about 6,000 years ago. That means 97% of the human story is just blank. It's unrecorded. And if the tiny 3% that we do know about has soldier bears, glass kings, and killer surgeons, what incredible, bizarre, and absolutely unbelievable things happened in the massive silence that came before? What do you think is out there in the dark?